Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is All Access Gospel Digital and All Access Gospel Radio with our very special guest, Bishop Neal Roberson, right now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Derrick Huggins here. This is All Access Gospel Live and All Access Gospel Digital, and I have an amazing guest with me today. This is also a part of our All Access Gospel Radio interview series, and I'm excited about my guest that I have on the show today. Before I introduce him and who this is, and also before we get into the meat of this interview, I need you to don't like this video, I need you to love it, all right? So you go down to the very bottom of your screen, hit that red heart, let Facebook know that you love us, you love the show, you love our guests, you love what we do here. And it lets the Facebook algorithm know, hey, we're on the air, and let other people know as well. So if you guys would do that, I'd appreciate that. Hit those hearts. I would appreciate that very much. Also want to remind you guys to follow the show, okay, at Elevate Gospel. Also follow us at All Access Gospel as well. And we have a wonderful 24-hour gospel radio station called All Access Gospel Radio. And you can tune into that at www.allaccessgospelradio.com for the very best in great gospel music. Okay, so without further ado, everybody, let's get our guest in. Let's get him in. He is a legend. Yes, I said it, living legend. His name is the Bishop Neal Roberson. Bishop.
D.
Bishop.
What's up, D?
Listen, man, I just the fact that I get to talk to you has been the highlight of my week. So, man, I just want to thank you for being here on the show, and
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for agreeing to do this interview. We really appreciate it, man. How's it going? How you doing?
Man, I am honored to be here with you today, man. What an honor it is to see you.
Yes, sir.
Through this horrible pandemic that we've gone through, God has spared us to be together once again, and I'm just honored to be able to share with you, man. How you been?
Man, I've been good despite everything. I told everybody was talking about the pandemic and all it did, but the Lord told me early on when we very first got the news about the pandemic, the Lord said to prepare for when it was over. So I thought that was good news right away, Bishop, because
Absolutely.
The Lord told me then that, hey, this was just going to come for a while and it's going to be over. Now, granted, it maybe lasted a little longer than we hoped it would, but the Lord said, hey, prepare the way for me to work for you through this pandemic and even on the backside of it. So fortunately for me, and it's been a testimony of many of my friends that God has really blessed us through the pandemic despite everything. But we are glad that some things are starting to come back to normal and we're able to get back out more. So
Absolutely.
All is well, man. I can't complain.
Absolutely. Same here, brother. Back on the road, hit it back out again. I've been out for the last few weeks, and slowly but surely things are kind of normalized. Well, let me say it like this. Things will never go back to normal. Never back to normal.
Yeah.
But it started to kind of materialize to some familiarity in some areas, so I'm grateful for that. As far as the road is concerned, it's opening back up, and we're proceeding with precaution,
Yes.
So that's the blessing behind this, and I'm excited to be able to live life again. I'm to kind of live it in a system of being free again.
Absolutely.
Because at first we were like, man, felt like we were, like a death sentence. Like it was like, who's gonna be next, or what's next? Is it me? Is it you? Who's gonna catch it? And the innocent was falling. People that just kind of weren't doing anything, just kind of touched the wrong things. It's almost like you were somewhere and you picked up something from somewhere, and then next thing you know, man, they were just kind of wiped out. This thing was taking no prisoners, so.
Oh, no, it was not indeed, man. And, again, our condolences continue to be to all of those that lost loved ones. I lost loved ones. I don't know many people who didn't lose someone, either a direct family member or friend or colleague. So it touched all of us. And so I'm glad you brought this up, because I do something I do with all my guests every time we open the show with something I like to call a top talker. And the top talker is just what we're going to talk about before we get into the meat of the interview. And what I want to really address with you today are really two topics. The first one is you alluded to the pandemic and how it was taking people out and things of that sort. I wanted you to address, if you don't mind, what do you feel about those who do not take the pandemic as seriously, even now with the vaccinations and things like that? Some have opted, and of course, I've never judged anyone for taking it or not taking it. I personally decided it was worth taking it, and I'm glad that I did that.
Yeah, I did too.
Glory to God.
I did too.
And I wanted to just ask you about that. What do you think the attribution is for people that really has not taken this pandemic seriously? Do you think it's just a mistrust of government, or do you think it's they feel like they don't have any faith if they took the vaccine? What do you think is behind that?
There's a song, and the opening line of that song says that time is filled with swift transition.
Oh, yes.
Things are ever changing. Things are evolving and changing. Yes. And in a world that's ever changing, for you not to adapt to a change, to a world that's ever changing, says something about your understanding of evolution of it. And I don't mean evolution from just a scientific perspective. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about an evolution perspective of God, because watch this. Although God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore, if Jesus was alive today, trust me, he wouldn't be walking around with a robe on.
Right.
Not today.
Right.
And so when the scripture says faith cometh by hearing, and I'm coming to your answer.
Sure.
But when the scripture says faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God, it did not say faith come by what you heard. It said faith come by what you are constantly hearing, and evolving word, constantly changing. And that's how life is. Life is constantly changing. Things are changing around us. I took the vaccination shot because we entered into a system. We entered into like a zone. Mm-hmm. We entered into a time dispensation that says this is what you need in this time zone. So to deny or to just write off the seriousness of what's happening shows a sense of denial for a person. Absolutely. For you to tell me this is a host, or this is a governmental host, or this is not real. Mm-hmm. My answer to you is no, my auntie was real. No, my uncle was real.
Hello.
No. This bishop over here, a friend of mine, is real. Yes. This pastor right here is real. These were real people who were going to events, and all of them at that event contracted the virus and wiped out almost half of them. Yeah. These people in the hospital on ventilators are real. So for you to come out and pick an argument for the sake of not having nothing to argue about, to say what's not real, and not to put a mask on, because even if you don't believe it ain't real, what you ought to do is at least respect other people by either stand from around them, or you go in the house, don't you never come out. Mm-hmm. But you shouldn't come out and then walk in people's face. I'm not putting on a man and break into an argument with a person about a mask. The second thing is, without the mask, without this, if you don't want to take the virus, to each his own. You don't have to take the virus. You don't have to. But there's a scripture in the Bible, and it was about a blind man. And brother, here's what it says, Derrick. Mm-hmm. The man says to the blind man, one of the government officials says to the blind man, he says, "Who healed you?" He says, "I don't know his name." He said, "Well, he was a fraud. He wasn't no good." The blind man looked at the man and says, "Well, all I know is I was blind.
And now I see."
And now I see.
Watch it, Bishop. See, I like having pastors and bishops on, because go ahead.
All I can say is I've taken the vaccination shot, and I'm sure I've been in contact with COVID, but COVID ain't been in contact with me.
Oh, listen, don't make me shout, Bishop. See, I like having you pastors on. And I come from a pastoral lineage. My father's a pastor, and I was a lead pastor at one time. And so I love talking to you all, and I knew it was coming when you said, "Now watch this." I said, "Oh, here we go. We're about to lay it on us. We're about to lay it on us." But I want to open this. I want to open that up to a broader conversation about what I consider to be the selfishness of people.
Yeah.
And I want you to speak to that if you can, and how that correlates with what we have to do in ministry. And I want to ask you about that because, to your point, everybody's running around saying, "Well, I'm not taking the shot," but they also don't want to stay around from people. And the thing is, we know that the virus has a very infectious rate, right, with you being around people. So let me get this straight. You don't want to take the virus, the vaccine, but you also don't want to abstain from being around people that you can potentially get sick. And then you double dog dare somebody to say something to you about it, right? And I want you to speak to that, why, the perilous times that we're in, and in a society to where there's so much selfishness and disregard for other human life, and how you manage that in a pastoral leadership spiritual capacity when you're speaking to people about this, and how would you speak to that?
Well, this particular situation, you got to have the testicle fortitude to go on and say what you need to go on and say what you need to say in this season.
Somebody Googling that right now, Bishop. Yes, sir. I love it.
I mean, today there is no, while you're trying to build up a way of saying it, people are dying like this every moment. They just die. And bottom line, you said it best in the beginning. It is called selfishness.
Yeah.
Selflessness, selfishness. You don't care.
Right.
All you care about is yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's a grandmother or a senior over here, who has it has been proven that grandmother or that senior could catch that virus and be wiped out. And you and your selfishness then went, now listen, I just buried a man in town. His son had COVID. He got COVID. He died. And then his son died a couple of weeks later.
My God. Wow.
While it's a tragedy on both ends, somebody gave it to somebody.
That's right. That's right.
Now that's non-negotiable. Somebody gave it, came from somewhere. The thing is, you can't track it down, but the fact of the matter is, if you're around somebody who has it, that's more than likely where you contracted it from.
Yeah.
This is not the season to be selfish. I told my children that in the heat of this COVID, here's what I said to my children. I said, don't come over. I told my children, I said, if you got something for me, bring it outside the door and drop it off. I said, but you ain't coming to my house. And they'll tell you, Daddy won't let us in. I told my wife, I said, I love your mom and dad and them.
Yeah.
But I'm not going up there to see them. I ain't going in their house. I'm not going nowhere on nobody. So everybody can be mad. Everybody can get mad at me in this season if they want to. But don't nobody come around me. Don't say nothing to me. I'm good. I'll talk to people. And I said, I'm not going to church. I'll do it online with fellowship like that. I said, and the reason why I'm doing this, I said, because I want to make sure that when this thing is over with, I live to talk about it. And I want to be, we can, listen, we'll be able to have another barbecue later if we all not be selfish and just stay home.
That's so true.
If everybody stay home, we'll be able to have another barbecue, have another family unit if the Lord's will, nothing happened. We'll be able to come to church together. We'll be able to dance together. We'll be able to worship together and sing together and cry together and shout together. I said, but if we be selfish in this season, this thing will wipe each one of us out one by one. This is not the season to be selfish. And just like I said, hey, guess what? I was at my son's house the other day. We all back together again. Everybody done been vaccinated. Don't you know 75 to 80% of the church I pastor have been vaccinated already?
That's amazing. And I'm glad you said that because, that's much higher than the national number right now. According to the CDC, only 64% of Americans have had at least one dose of the shot. And I'm not gonna make this all about this because we want to talk about your
Absolutely.
music.
No, this is
But
good.
I just wanted you to talk on that because I think it's important for faith leaders to be out front on this issue and make sure that they are speaking and communicating to the broader public because you all are in positions of trust. You know, as pastors, bishops,
Absolutely.
leadership, you know, people listen to what you say. And so I think it's important with people like yourself, and I want to commend you for, you know, being on the front lines of saying that so that people understand this is a very important issue. But listen, we really came here to talk about the music today. And as I tell you, everybody, again, thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that heart down at the bottom of the screen. Also, share this feed. Please share this video so that people can see that we're talking to the great living legend, Bishop Neal Roberson, who is on with us right now. So, Bishop, I want to talk about, you know, your journey in gospel music. You know, you're definitely no stranger to our industry, definitely no stranger to gospel music itself. And I want to ask you, man, because you've had, you know, just hits after hits, songs that we love and remember. Press My Way, He Saw Me, Show Me the Way, Heaven, Keep Holding On, and so
Yeah,
many
Lord
countless
Jesus.
Keep Holding On, and so many countless others. Tell me, you know, just for those that don't know, I can't imagine there's too many people that don't know, but tell them, you know, about your journey, you know, where you started and, you know, over the years, how you've been able to stay relevant and stay current after all these years.
Well, I've started in a small city in Mississippi called Durant, Mississippi. Small little city. We had the train used to stop there. Train stopped at Durant, and then we moved to Milwaukee. My father pastored there. We moved to Milwaukee, and we grew up there in Milwaukee. My father pastored at, and as a young kid, Daddy taught us to sing. He took us around singing. We went around traveling, singing the whole 9 yards. At the age of about 13, 14 years old, I went on the road for the first time with a group called the Luckett Brothers. And
Okay.
they traveled with the late O.B. Wright, the blues singer.
Mm-hmm.
And I played keyboards for them. I've been playing keyboards a little 50 years, you know, it's a long time.
Yeah.
and so I played keyboards with them as I traveled with them. And at 16 years old, I got married. And
Wow.
my wife and I have been married this year, almost 40 years this year. So
Wow.
and so at 17, I went on the road playing, like I said, with OV, and then I went with then I started playing with BB King. I was with him 5 years, and then I went with Lynn White, played with her a few years, and then I made my way back to gospel music, and I was meeting with the late Frank Williams at Malaco Records, and he had just did a big record on the Mississippi Mass Choir, and he says to me, "Man, I can't sign you on Malaco because I don't have the space right now." He said, "But my two brothers, man, got this record company, and the company is called Blackberry Records."
Blackberry Records.
And man, he a girl by the name of Talisa Stinson.
Mm-hmm.
Talisa took me to Macomb, Mississippi. And I went there with Blackberry Records, and they said, "Well, we can't do it yet. We're doing a record on this group called the Bolton Brothers."
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, "Okay." And so they knew my kind of history as a musician. So I ended up being the band director and producing the music for the Bolton Brothers record live in Mobile. Well, after that record was done, the brothers came back to me and says, "Hey man, we want to offer you a deal, you know." So I ended up signing with Blackberry Records, and that relationship lasted 14 years. I was with Blackberry Records. And I did Press My Way Through, Blessing You've Been Waiting For, It's On the Way, You've Been Good to Me, Don't Let the Devil Ride. There's a bunch of songs that really did well for me. You know, and in the process of doing those records, Malaco, I went back over to Malaco, not signed to Malaco, and did the tribute to the legends in gospel. And it looked like for a moment everything I was touching was just boom, blowing up, boom, boom. And then I went into a season when I left Blackberry Record. I went into a season of 2 years, just kind of lying dormant for a minute. I was pastoring, trying to find my way through pastoring and husband and father and singing. You know, it's hard balancing those things when you don't have a how can I say, when you don't have a picture of something to follow, when you don't have a pattern of something to follow, when you don't have a picture perfect scene of something a pattern to follow. I didn't have it. And I saw people do it wrong, but I didn't see a lot of people do it right.
My God.
And so
That's a word.
Yeah. So I ended up having to find my way how to do it. So I became a bad pastor, a bad father, a bad husband, a bad leader, and a bad artist. I was good at all of them, but I wasn't making wise decisions.
My God.
I was pastoring in a city, and my sons were graduating from high school. They were in ministry with me. I only have 3 children. My twin boys graduated from high school. And that Sunday, when they graduated from high school, when we got out of church that Sunday, instead of me being at the graduation, I flew out of town to a concert.
My Lord.
Well, that wasn't wisdom. That was, but I didn't have a go-to. The scripture says, where there's a multitude of counsel, there's success. There's success in a multitude of counsel. The scripture also says we have 10,000 instructors, but not many fathers. At that point, you need somebody. Samuel needs an Eli, somebody to give you instructions on how to see your way through situations. Well, after several years, I was able to balance because certain people came into my life and helped me to navigate through those things. And today, man, some 15, 20 years later after that, because my sons are 34 years old now. This is back when they was 17 years old. But today, I'm 3 children later, 13 grandchildren later, 40 years later in marriage. I become the father that I needed. I become the instructor that I needed. I become the person that I needed to help others to become better at what they do, or better yet, navigate through life to make better choices. So my musical career, the highlight of my musical career, the highlight of my ministry, the highlight of my pastorate, the highlight of father, the highlight of grandfather is getting it right, loving God, knowing the word, knowing what Jesus said. I've exalted my words above my name, being a man of your word, integrity, doing the things you're supposed to do. And so my artistry have came full circle, and I'm not all the way there, but it has come full circle to the point now, post-pandemic, coming out of the pandemic, God has given me restoration. And I keep hearing God, and I know preachers say a lot of stuff. Preachers say a lot of stuff, But I'm going to tell you really what God said to me, And I oftentimes share my personal experiences with people. But let me tell you what God said to me coming out of this pandemic. I heard one word, and the word that I heard was greater. God just kept saying it to me. He says greater. He says, Neal, I'm going to do greater for you. 3 years ago, my mother and my father died together, one day apart.
Wow.
My mother had a massive heart attack on Thanksgiving Day. They were not sick on Thanksgiving Day. On Thanksgiving Day, she had a massive heart attack. She stayed on life support from Thanksgiving to December 16th. On December 16th, she died. My dad had just left the hospital seeing her. He went back to my sister's house. They were visiting. They had moved back to Mississippi, and they were visiting Milwaukee. And she had a heart attack on Thanksgiving in Milwaukee. On December 16th, she died. Daddy was at my sister's house. We went back to Daddy's house and told Daddy and Mama died tonight. And the next day, he died.
My God.
1 year later, I was diagnosed with lung cancer. 1 year later, diagnosed with lung cancer. And God completely, in 6 months, I coughed up blood for 6 months through radiation. 6 months later, God totally healed me. Cancer went totally away. I ain't seen it since.
My God.
1 year after that, the COVID hit. I had COVID. And today, I'm still standing here a year later after that to tell you that he keeps on making a way.
Keep on making a way. You see, now I see, this is how I know you experienced, because you knew how to set up the song. You knew how to set up the song. So what we're going to do, we're going to play the song, the new single. It's not out yet, everybody, but I wanted you to hear it here. And again, I want to just thank Bishop Roberson and the team. So shout out to Deborah, Snoopy Hannah, and Amber Shaw for helping to coordinate this.
That's my team, Doc. That's my team, Doc.
They are great women in the industry, and we're definitely blessed to have them for sure. All right, so this is what we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen. This is a song, and we're gonna talk about it on the back end, and then we'll finish our conversation. So let's hear it. Here it is, Bishop Neal Roberson, right here.
Well, I'm back. way. Over and over again. He's always bringing me out. Ooh-wee. Over and over again. Lord, you've done so much. Yeah, unto you. Oh my. Lord, how glory, glory. Yeah, keeps on making a way. Keeps on making a way from me. Ooh, Lord, opening doors for me. Yeah, taking care of me. Keeps on. Yeah. Darnell, say he keeps on. Opening doors, taking care of me. Keeps on taking care of me. Lord, I forever glory. Glory. Lord, I forever sing your praise. The Lord keeps on making a way. Taking good care of me. Taking care of me. Yes, he is. Taking good care of me. Taking care of me. Y'all sing now. Taking good care of me. Yeah. David said, what did he say, Bishop? I was young. Yes, sir. But now I'm old. And I ain't never seen the righteous forsaken. Nor have I seen a seed begging bread. If you keep on reading, Bishop, because God is so merciful, your seed is gonna be blessed. Yes, sir. I like this, Bishop. He put food on my table. Oh, yeah. Don't know what did he do? God put clothes on my back. Oh, yeah. He put a roof over my head. Yes, he did. I ain't gotta worry about nothing. I can't pay you for all that you done for me. No, I can't. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Millions didn't make it, but I'm one of the ones who did. Keeps right on. Yeah. Oh. Now everybody clap your hands right now. Oh, Lord. Woo. If you know that it's making a way. Yeah. God. My. Woo-wee. Still alive, yes, sir.
Woo! Man, oh man, y'all. He keeps on making the way. The legend, living legend, Bishop Neal Roberson, man. Listen, first of all, I just want to know why you have to do us like that, Bishop.
Man, that's Darnell Williams of the Williams.
Darnell Williams. Oh yeah, I know who it is. You know that voice is unmistakable. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I have to tell you, Bishop, because I got one of my artists that I manage. Her name is Robin McGee. She's a bad girl, by the way. Check her out when you get a chance. But she was telling me yesterday, when she found out I was going to have you on the show, she was like, man, I was just jamming to Bishop Neal Roberson. And so you are one of her favorite singers as well as Darnell Williams. So yes, I know she in heaven right now.
I see her on the. Hey, Robin.
Yes, indeed.
Robin, go Robin.
Absolutely. Thank you. And shout out to Cherry Johnson, as well as my boy Mark Ayers Jr., another great artist here in Dallas, Fort Worth. And let me tell you something, Bishop. Now, I know y'all got good artists where y'all at, but I'm just saying, down here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Doc, we got some great artists here, man. I don't mind repping the city. But no, I want to talk about really quickly, the thing that I love when I heard this song for the first time before I had you on was, I was like, man, I love to see our living legends still out here kicking it, doing their thing, and doing it at a high level still. And, there's a certain amount of novelty when we have our living legends with us, right? And they do things, well, oh yeah, you know, we always gonna respect you guys. But it wasn't a novelty song. This was like, it smacks, like Mark says here, that's Smack City. I'm gonna post that comment there. That's Smack City, Doc. Yes, I mean, from front to back. So talk about the production of this. Talk about what made you want to do that particular song, because you know I knew of the song from Reed's Temple Choir.
Reed's Temple, that's right.
That's right. Recorded this, and so I wanted to know what made you decide to do this song, and I love the way you put your own spin on it. So talk about that.
Well, here's what's up. About September last year, when I kind of had a feeling that we were kind of getting close to the Lord had started revealing that we're going to be coming out of this pandemic next year sometime.
Yeah.
We're getting around November sometime. I started asking God, and I truly, sincerely started asking God, God, give me a song. I need a song to commemorate your goodness through this pandemic. I need a song, you know. So God, give me a big song. You know, you was praying that prayer, that artist prayer.
Yeah,
God,
absolutely.
And I'm being transparent. So God, give me a big song. Give me a song. So I started trying to think of stuff to write. I was calling different producers, Derrick Stevenson.
I
was calling Derrick Starks. I was calling all my buddies.
Starks.
I was calling all my boys. I said, man, you know, I need a song. And there's a young man that was driving from Chicago up to Flint, Michigan, where my church is. And he was kind of my MD for a few weeks coming up. His name is James Anderson. And James, they call him Lil James. James is Todd Delaney's music director. He tours with Todd. Yes. And I was talking to James on the phone. And I said, James, man, you know, I just need a song, man. He said, Bishop, tell me a song. And I said, I call Percy Gray.
Yeah.
I call Percy.
Yeah.
Him and his brother Gerald. I said, man, I need a song, man. I need a song so bad. And they was like, man, you know, we recorded this song by Reed's Temple back 2004, 2005. Yeah. And I said, man, don't say nothing. I said, don't say nothing. I said, I start singing, keeps on making it away. Yeah. He said, that's it.
Yeah.
I said, can I record it? He said, Neal, please record it.
Please record it.
That he was saying that for more than one reason.
Yeah, right.
But so I went and pulled up Reed's Temple. I was listening at it. It's like, wow, that's the song. Over and over again, always bringing me out over and over again. But, so I started listening to all the words. I said, this is the song. Then I heard God say this: do not reinvent the wheel. That's the song.
That's the song.
Don't go he said, don't go try to change no words to get no royalties or some publishing off of it.
Right.
Give that man what's his. That is the song. I'm going to breathe on that song.
And I believe it. Because you know what? All while we were listening to it, man, I was over here jamming. Like, I'm like, man, I almost forgot I was on this interview.
So James Anderson put the whole arrangement together. He did the whole thing.
Wow.
And then I called my music director that travels with me.
Yeah.
His name is James Owens Jr. He's the producer he produced Stephanie Mills, Andy Stone, all those guys. So those two guys got together and put that together. Oh my God. And when they sent it to the studio up here, I went in the studio, did the cut, and they put all the vocal stuff together, did everything, and sent it to me. And I said, change this, change that, tweak this, tweak that, tweak whatever. And I went to the studio and I sung it. And man, when they got through mixing it and doing all of that, man, I'm gonna tell you something, incredible. Just incredible how it turned out. And I'm really, really excited. And I'm really excited about that. You know, I'm not into tearing up relationships and killing relationships, but a big shout out to Malico Records, you know, who I was with for some time. You know, it didn't work out in the end for us, but they were still people of humility and you know, and kind of releasing me and saying, okay, man, you know, it didn't work out. You go ahead and woo. So, you know, big shout out to Tommy Couch Jr. for.
You know what I appreciate about what you just said, and something I think should be informative. You know, what I love about my particular platform, I have a lot of indie artists that watch me. And one of the things I like having the legends on, I had Harvey Watkins Jr. on probably about a month or so ago. Then I had Keith Wonderboy Johnson on, Martha Munizzi, and now you know, you guys have been doing this for a good clip of time. And one of the things I appreciated about what you just said was you were very diplomatic in saying that, you know, that didn't work out for us ultimately, but you still pay deference to them.
Absolutely.
And this is something I really think the younger artists, and I want you to speak to them if you can. Any independent artists that are up and coming, like my artist Robin McGee. Shout out to her. She's doing really well right now. She got a great song, Bishop, called "Come On Jesus." So remember that song. Check it out.
All right.
Come On Jesus. I think you're gonna love it. But doing well. I just saw the charts today. She's like around 35 on the indicator, gospel indicator. Just doing well. But I wanted to speak to these artists about the importance of understanding. You just said it a few minutes ago, not about breaking relationships, keeping your relationships intact, keeping your integrity intact in this business. Because I tell them all the time on my Clubhouse, I have a Clubhouse club on Clubhouse, and we talk about this all the time. And I say, listen, you have to remember this industry's small. You're not, and I hear Radio Robin, shout out to Robin McCullum of Gospel Highway 11. She always says this: you're not but one or two people away from someone else in this industry.
That's right.
And so talk to them about that, if you would, about just the importance of maintaining that.
There is I'm an advocate of. I'm plugging something up here.
Yes, sir.
I am an advocate of leadership summits. You can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I can.
I'm an advocate of leadership summits, taking leaders to those kinds of places to get what they need in order to be relevant and to have what they need. Bishop Jake said something in being around him, veteran preacher, philanthropist, great leader. He said something. He said, if you see a turtle, and this was amazing to me, but he said, if you see a turtle on a fence pole, just know he didn't get up there by himself.
That's good.
And so what we have to understand is it is through a plethora of relationships that we materialize to the people that we are. Perfection is a journey and not a destination. We're traveling.
Run that one back, Bishop. Run that back for the people in the back.
Yeah. Perfection is a journey.
Yes.
And not a destination.
Yes. Love it.
And so as we travel through life, coming into the place or coming into our own, we travel life, and it takes people to help you to become who you are. Absolutely. You are one connection from being where you need to be at.
My God.
You're just one connection.
Powerful.
You hear what I'm saying to you now?
I do.
You're going to need somebody in life. You need people. And so you can't go around through life burning down bridges and killing people unapologetically. You can't do that. Just, hey, man, everybody got an agenda. No, things didn't work out perfect between me and BlackBerry or me and Malico or me and anybody else or even distribution companies. No, but the fact of the matter is, if it was not for the relationship that we did have.
That's correct.
I mean, Malico let me use their name.
That's so good, man.
Malico is a household legendary name.
Yes.
Just that brand alone.
Yes, that's
that
correct.
Brand has been branding.
Yes.
And listen to me. Watch this here. Watch this. Malico gets more wrongs than they do rights, but you don't see the wrongs. You see all the rights.
Yeah.
So they get it. And as an artist, we get more wrongs in our bag than we do rights in our bag. We get celebrated for the rights that we have. Same thing about relationships. All relationships are not perfect. But when we meet a happy medium, like a song that becomes a hit, then everybody has a celebratory moment.
Yes.
But we don't talk about the times when it didn't work out or promotions didn't happen or this.
Yes.
So when you come out of that, why is it that when you come out of a relationship, you got to knock all the stuff off the table on your way out the relationship?
Oh my God, man. Can I just interject right here and say, God has really been dealing with me about this topic in particular, but you dropping so many gems today, and I'm praying that these artists, if they're listening and watching, and I pray that anyone that watches this video in the replay understand the gravity of what you said, because I've never quite understood the need to burn down the house after you left it. If you left it, then leave it. You left it, right? You say you're doing better wherever you're at. Why? So if that's true, why do you have to burn down where you were?
Absolutely.
Right? And so I love that you said that, man. And I pray that the artists are grabbing hold of that. That's some really good wisdom. And I appreciate you. This is why we need y'all, man. We need these living legends out here to help the rest of us that are coming along understand how you guys have been doing this for so long.
Yes,
And
sir.
there's a key. I always say this, and I heard the great Harvey Watkins say this as well. He said there's a key to relationships. There's a key to success and longevity.
That's right.
Y'all didn't last this long by accident.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Sure, it was God's grace, it was His mercy, and certainly His favor. But it was also because you all understand there are certain aspects that we have to know when we're moving in and about with different people. So I appreciate you saying that, man. And
it's important, man. It is so important, man. Because these people are humans.
Yeah.
They have life. They have families. Tommy got a wife, a family, children, and his father. That's a family company.
Yes.
That was launched on Melvin and Doug. Those guys had families. Blackberry Records was something that was birthed out of their loins.
Yeah, yeah.
And they helped. They gave Bishop Paul Morton his chance to start. All that stuff. We offer Christ to you. All that. No tears. Your tears. All that's Blackberry Records. All that. All of Canton's biggest hits, and the Boltons and Tim Rogers and myself, and that's Blackberry Records. That's because Doug and Melvin Green took the time and put their hands on that thing.
Man, I love it.
And shared their name with it. And so we do the same thing today by sharing vital information that becomes imperatively important for your growth, to become the people that you need to be. Hey, you take the bitter with the sweet and you keep moving right along. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm like you. It always bothered me why two people can meet each other in a marriage and they in love. They was the best thing since whatever. They was in love, man. Man, I love that girl, man. That girl hated me. Then something go wrong. Man, I hate that helper, man. I hate her, man. I should have never met her, man. See, now y'all gonna kill each other and burn each other to tape. It don't take all of that, man. It just don't take all of that. Just come on out of there. Hey, and whatever you're gonna say it to yourself. Go in the house, close the door. Say whatever you're gonna say now, and come back out and work this thing out. And God has a plan. We know this much, that all things work together for the good to those that love God and to those that are called according to His purpose. So whatever went wrong, it was in the plan of God.
It was in the plan of God. Well, look, man, we've got a few minutes left. And in these few minutes, I want to do this. The first thing is I want you to tell our viewers how they can connect with you on social media or anything of that sort, and let them know how they can reach out to you there.
Every morning I'm on at 7 a.m. Every morning I'm on Facebook. Everyone from Tuesday to Friday. I'm on at 7 o'clock. It's called Morning Glory. I do prayer and the word every morning, Tuesday through Friday. Just go to my Facebook page, or you can join me on my YouTube channel. Now listen, it is official Neal Roberson. All the other Neal Roberson, all the other things, that ain't me. I need you to come over to the official.
Look, I see. This is how you know when you live in legend, when you have official stuff.
That's right. It is official. Don't be monitored. I'm telling y'all right now, it's official, because I need that page monetized. I don't want y'all. I'm telling y'all, hey, when you get older like me, you tell people the truth now. When you go to official, I get the money. So I need you to go, and I need you to go to official Neal Roberson and subscribe to that channel. It's Neal Roberson, official Neal Roberson. My YouTube is Neal Roberson. Instagram is Bishop Neal. Twitter is Bishop Neal. So go there, and I'm on every day. My church page, all that stuff is at Church of the Harvest. If you come to me, you'll find Church of the Harvest. Just go there.
Absolutely.
And hey, listen, follow me.
Man, I'm about to come up and visit your church, man, soon, man.
You'll be trying to move. You'll be trying to move.
Man, look, I think you have to talk to my dad about that. You know that my dad's my pastor. He'd love to have a conversation with you about that one. But no, but I definitely got to come by and visit, man. And last minute we got with you. What are some just closing thoughts that you want to offer, whether that's to indie artists or just anyone that's watching this?
Holiness is when God comes into a common area and connect with it. When God comes into a natural common area, when Moses walked where the burning bush was, the voice spoke out of the bush and says, the ground that you're standing on is holy ground. Now take your shoes off.
Yeah.
God comes into.
In other words, show some respect.
Yeah, show some respect.
Yeah, yeah.
Now watch this. Was the ground holy? No, the ground wasn't holy. Right. Well, what was holy? It was the one who had connected with the ground.
Yeah.
God is holy. Yeah. So wherever he touches, wherever he comes in at, is holy. If you want to be a good artist, if you want to be an artist, a good preacher in this season, you need to allow Jesus Christ to come into your heart. And that is tainted and unholy will become holy. And you'll be allowed to carry the glory. When your voice goes out, you'll go out with the glory of God on your voice, because what is common becomes uncommon. What is natural becomes supernatural because of the glory of God when it comes into your heart. I invite you today, be holy in this season. This is the season of holiness. It's a call back to God. Come on back. It's time to come back.
Woo! All right. Well, listen, gems, drop the mic gems from the living legend, Bishop Neal Roberson, everybody. Got a wonderful new single coming out. Keeps on making the way. Y'all heard it earlier. You didn't get to, if you came in late, shame on you. But but if you came in late, after we're done with the live broadcast, you'll be able to go back and replay it, and you'll be able to check it out.
Absolutely.
And Bishop Neal, tell them when, about when you think the project is going to come out.
Somewhere around the third. I think it's the third Friday in July. It comes out. Third Friday in July. It'll be out. I don't have that date right in front of me, but I know it's the third Friday of July that record comes out. It'll be on all of your social media platforms, all of your, YouTube, not YouTube, but iTunes, all those platforms.
Well, check this out. So I've been blessed to have an advanced copy of it, so it will be spinning on both of my radio stations.
Burn it up, Doc.
So I just want y'all to know, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hear the song again and again and again, definitely check out allaccessgospelradio.com or aspireradio.com, and you will definitely be able to hear Keeps on Making the Way by the living legend, Bishop Neal Roberson. Thank you,
Derrick, man. I appreciate you, Derrick.
Absolutely. God, anytime. Yes, my doors are open to you anytime. Just say, hey, Derrick, let's do it again. And hey, we're going to set it up and make it happen, man.
Thank you, D.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our time here with the living legend. That's right. I'm going to keep saying it because I believe absolutely in paying deference to those who have paved the way for us to come behind them. And I just want you all to thank you all again for how you always support this platform. Thank you for how you are always here rooting us on, whatever we are doing. And I just want to appreciate you. And of course, appreciate our very special guest, Bishop Neal Roberson. All right, y'all, you know how it is. We got to go. Time to get up out of here. So we'll see y'all next time. God bless everybody. God bless.